Good day and welcome to class. This is ANC TUTORS and together we'll be considering the question before us. The question before us today is as follows. Factorize x squared plus 8x plus 12. Okay, so we're going to read the question for better clarity and we start to solve. But before we continue, we have to look at the expression very carefully. We have three terms. The first term is x squared. The second term is plus 8x. And the third term is plus 12. Okay, always remember that the sign before a number is what is attached to the number after it. Alright, so the coefficient of the first term is 1. And I would like to say something here. Whenever you see a letter written alone, it means one that letter. For example, now if y is written alone, it's the same thing as 1y. Y is the same thing as 1y. X is the same thing as 1x. AB is the same thing as 1AB. X squared is the same thing as 1x squared. So in this question, the coefficient of x squared is 1, while the coefficient of the second term is 8. And then we have the third term, which is a constant, which is 12. Okay, so usually we have to multiply the coefficient of the first term and the third term together, which will give us 1, which is the coefficient of the first term, and 12, which is the third term, to give us 1 times 12, which is equal to 12. And then we'll now look for the coefficient of the second term, which is 8. So we have two numbers now, 12 and 8. So what we do now is look for two numbers such that when we multiply them together, it will give us 12. And when we add them together, it will give us 8. Okay, so one of the shortcut method I usually use in questions like this is I usually start from the product that we got. What is the product that we got? 12. So I'll come here to write out my 12. And I'll try to look for as many combinations of numbers that whenever I multiply them together, it will give me 12. So I will start from 1. 1 times 1 will give me 12. 12. So that's 1 times 12 is one combination. Then I'll move on to 2. 2 times 1 will give me 12. 2 times 6. Then I'll move on to 3. 3 times 1 will give me 12. 3 times 4. Then I'll move on to 4. 4 can go in 12. But I have 4 already in the third combination. So I'm not going to write 4 again. Can 5 go in 12? No. Can 6 go? Yes. But I have 6 already in the second combination. Can 7 go? No. 8? No. 9? No. 10? No. 11? No. Can 12 go? Yes. But I have 12 already in the first combination. Alright, so after doing this, I will now shuffle the plus sign and the minus sign between this combination as you see here below. I can write minus 12 and minus 1. I can write minus 1 and plus 12. I can write plus 1 and minus 12. I can write plus 1 and plus 12. I can write minus 2 and minus 6, or minus 2 and plus 6, or plus 2 and minus 6, or plus 2 and plus 6, and so on. It's just as if you are playing a game and you are trying to make sure you are giving signs to each of these numbers and everything. So after we've introduced the signs, we now try to look for the two numbers that when we add them together, it will give us 8. And when we multiply them together, it will give us 12. Looking at the first one here, minus 1 and minus 12. Multiplying these numbers together will give us minus 1 times minus 12. That will give us 12 plus 12. Since minus times minus is equal to plus, and 1 times 12 is equal to what? Is equal to 12. Okay, adding them together now. Minus 1 plus minus 12 is the same thing as minus 1 minus 12, which is equal to minus 13. And that is not giving us 8 that we need, so we cannot use it. Alright, moving to the fifth item here, which is minus 2 and minus 6. Let's try to see. Multiplying this, we have minus 2 times minus 6, which will give us plus 12. Because minus times minus is plus, and 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, that is giving us 12. But adding this together, minus 2 plus minus 6 is the same thing as minus 2 minus 6, which is going to give us minus 8. So it's not giving us the 8 that we need, so it means we cannot use it. So let's move on to the one that we have highlighted in red. Plus 2 and plus 6. Multiplying these numbers together, plus 2 times plus 6 is equal to plus 12. Okay, that is giving us the product. Then we add them together. Plus 2 plus 6 is equal to what? Plus 2 plus 6, which is equal to what? Plus 8. Okay, this is giving us the perfect thing that we need, both the product and the second coefficient. So we'll now use these two numbers, 2 and 6, to replace the middle term. Okay, so it means the two numbers 2 and 6 satisfy the above condition, and we'll go on to replace the term as follows. The condition they've satisfied is what? They must be multiplied together to give us 12, and they must add up to give us 8. So since they've satisfied this condition, we go on as thus: x squared plus 2x plus 6x plus 12. So as you can see, plus 2x plus 6x has replaced plus 8x. Okay, so that is the new expression we have now. So we'll now be picking these terms 2 by 2. We marry the first one, the first 2, which is x squared plus 2x, and we'll marry the last 2, which is 6x plus 12. So looking at the first 2 now, what is common between these two? What is common between x squared and plus 2x? X is common. So when we remove x, we bring x outside the bracket. Okay, so when we remove x from x squared, we are left with just x, plus when we remove x from 2x, we are left with just 2. So it means we've removed the common factor here. Plus we now move on to what? To the last two terms, which is 6x plus 12. What is common between 6x and 12? 6 is common. So when we remove 6 from 6x, we are left with just x. And when we remove 6 from 12, we are left with 2. Because 6 times 2 is equal to what? Is equal to 12. Alright, so we factorized already. And if you can notice very well, you will see that the numbers inside the bracket are the same thing. Alright, so it means that we will take one of these bracketed entities, meaning we take one of the x plus 2, as we see here. Okay, x plus 2. Then the remaining three terms that are outside the bracket, we also give them a bracket. What are the terms after the outside the bracket? We have x and plus 6. So we'll pick these two and combine them into a bracket. So that will give us open bracket x plus 2 close bracket, open bracket x plus 6 close bracket, which is our final answer. Alright, so if you follow these steps very carefully, you'll be able to solve to factorize any quadratic expression that might be given to you. Do you understand? So please always have this in mind. And you can also use this method even if the coefficient of the first term is not 1. It could be 2, it could be 12, it could be anything. Just make sure you multiply the coefficient of the first term and the third term and just continue. Okay, so that will be